Hi besties, welcome back to my channel again. On today's channel I'm going to be putting you through on how to cut and sew this beautiful trendy dress. It has a gathers, yeah, and a bow tie, two bow tie by the bust side. So if this is what you're interested in, I would like to say keep on watching, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and turn on your notification bell so you could be notified whenever we post new tutorials. Okay, so without wasting much of your time, I'd like to say let's get right into the video. So for this particular tutorial, the fabric is somehow complicated because I've seen people use Mikado for theirs, but the one on the thumbnail I think is a poly, light poly. You know, we have light and that thick poly, you get. So, and we all know how fabric is expensive in at the market now. So I checked for poly. To get the volume I want for poly, it's going to be very expensive. So I said, since I've not tried this particular outfit, let me use a cheaper fabric. And the fabric I'm using for this all through, both for the one for the gathers and the one for the up, the fabric I'm using is a doll face. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to come out after the end of this video, but I can say that it really came out looking very beautiful. So if you have the money for Mikado, make use of Mikado. If you have the money for a light poly, make use of a light poly. But for me, I am making use of a doll face, right? But maybe when making for a client, I'm going to know how much to charge the client, then get the exact fabric we have on the thumbnail. So like I said, I am using a doll face for mine, and altogether I have 5 yards of doll face. Yeah, I have 5 yards of doll face. You can make use of 4 yards, depend on how pleated you want your gathers to be. So guys, I'll be drafting on our pattern paper first, and for that I'm going to be marking our starting line. This video was recorded in the night, so I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm doing, but I'm sure you're seeing it. So after marking my starting line, I'm going to take my shoulder, my vertical point, which is my shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waist, shoulder to sorry guys, my shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, then shoulder to waist. Then from the waist I came down by 4 inches, although later I extended it by 7 inches. Right, from my waistline I came down by 4 inches, but I later extended my waistline to 7 inches. Just you watch and you see what I did there. So for my neck width I used 3, neck depth 3, and I connected it. I came down, I divided my shoulder by 2, marked, come down by 1 inch shoulder slope. From the 1 inch shoulder slope, I came down by 9 inches for my armhole, which is also going to serve as my chest line, right? So after that, I'm going to be connecting the lines that I marked, and I'm going to label them. I'm going to connect my 1 inch shoulder slope to the neckline area, draw a straight line to meet my armhole. Then I'm going to label the lines: chest line, bust point, under bust, waistline, then the basque line. Like I said before, I later extended my basque line by 7. So you can extend your basque line by 10, you can extend it 7, okay? But I extended mine by 7. From my waistline I extended mine by 7. Okay, so I divided my chest line, my bust circumference divided by 4, my chest line, I chalked it down. I divided what I have on my armhole by 2, came out by ½ inch, and I marked my armhole curve. This is what I normally do. Then I'm going to be taking my bust span, which is nipple to nipple all along, bust point, under bust, waistline, and that's basque line, and I'll be coming down by 1 inch from my bust point, come out by ½ inch on the waistline. Then I'll be connecting the lines. So this dress, if you look very closely on the thumbnail, it looks like it has a corset illusion, like as if there is a bone in it, but there is no bone in it. But I'm going to show you how to manipulate that. Right, so after marking the darts, after taking my darts, the next thing I'm going to do now, I've already marked my bust measurement divided by 4, and I added the allowance I needed. On my waistline, I'm going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4, replace the darts, and add 1.5 seam allowance. On the basque line, I'm going to take my hip measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to add 1.5 inches for my seam allowance. Hope you guys understand. Like I said before, the back line I later extended mine to 7 inches, I extended from my waistline. By 4, but I later extended it to 7. Yeah, this is it now. I extended it to 7 because I think the 4 I took was too close to my waistline, so I extended it to 7 inches. Okay, so please don't get confused. Right after taking your vertical line, your shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waist, from your waist extend for your back line, extend it to 7 or 8. Is not, don't even get up to 10 because it's going to be too down. So 7 or 8 is totally fine. So I'm going to extend that leg to that new back line I got. Hope you understand, guys. I hope I'm not too fast. So on the shoulder line, that's the shoulder slope I got, I'm going to divide what I have there by 2, extend it into the that leg on my bust point. Then on my bust point, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch. That's the difference between my my waist points for my front and for my back is 1 inch. Okay, so I took 1.5 inch from my bust line. That's a side that, though I'm going to be closing it on paper. Okay, I'm going to be closing it on paper. We are making use of we're not going to make use of the side dart or the bust dart, whatever you guys call it. I'll close it on paper. So I'll be cutting out what I have on my pattern paper, and we'll cut for the back. So my waist line for my front, that's my shoulder to waist for my front, is 18. So my is 18. Then my shoulder to waist for my back is 16.5. Hope you understand. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the waistline, and I'm going to connect it straight down into that back line I got. Can you see that? You can maintain your waistline, but I decided to come down by 1 inch from my waistline, then slant it into the back line. Then I'm going to open up my that leg. Okay, so please guys, I hope I'm not too fast. Make sure you're following what I'm doing. So after opening my that leg, I'm going to be cutting I'm going to cut open my bust point. That's 1.5 inches I came down by from the bust point. I'm going to cut it open, then close it on paper. I'm going to use my masking tape to close it on paper. Hope you understand. I hope you understand what I'm doing. This dress is not going to be having any side dart or bust. Some people call it side dart, some people call it bust dart. So it's not going to be having that. I just took that for relaxation. Then I'm going to use my masking tape to close it on paper. So the next thing we're going to do now, like I said before, this gown has like a corset illusion, but it doesn't have a bone in it. Hope you understand. It doesn't have a bone in it. So after closing up my bust dart, I'm going to divide what I have on my waistline by 2. I'm going to divide what I have on my waistline by 2, and I'm going to connect it straight into, like, I'm going to mark a straight line. I'm going to connect it by 2, and I'm going to divide what I have on my waistline by 2, then connect it just the way you see me doing. Connect it very close to the armhole. Can you see that? So I'll label it 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this front pattern now, I'll cut it on my fabric. I'm going to have six pieces while cutting. I'm going to have 6 pieces for just the front. So now we're going to be drafting for our back. Then I'm managing pattern paper here. Things are very expensive in the market, so we are being economical here. So I'm going to use my masking tape. That's 2 pieces pattern paper I have left. I'm going to use my masking tape to secure it down so that I can use that for my back pattern. I can use that to cut my back pattern. Hope you guys understand. So after which, I'm going to mark my starting line for this on the pattern paper. Mark my starting line, then take my vertical lines. Okay, so guys, if you've watched to this extent and you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you could be notified whenever we post beautiful tutorials like this. Okay, so first of all I marked 1.5 inch out for my zipper allowance for the back, right? Then I'll mark my starting line, which is also going to serve as my shoulder line. is going to serve as my shoulder line as well. So from my shoulder, I'll divide my shoulder by 2. On my shoulder line, which is my starting point, divide it by 2. My shoulder divided by 2 is 9. I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. From that 1 inch, I came down by my chest line, which is also my armhole line, by 9. Yeah, my chest line, my armhole is 9. So I came down by 9. Then from my shoulder, I will come down by 16.5. You know, my front waistline is 18, so I'll be coming down by 16.5 for the back waistline. Then from there, I'm going to extend it to the 7 inches for the back line, for the back line, right? You know, I extended the front by 7. I will also extend the back by 7 as well from my waistline. Okay, so I labeled the chest line, waistline, and back line. Then the neck measurement for the back is, my neck width is 3. My neck depth is 1, and I connected my shoulder slope. I connected to the neckline area, and I marked a straight line for my armhole. Then I divide what I have there by 2, come out by 1/4 inch, take my bust circumference divided by 4, add 1.5 inch for seam allowance, just the way I did for the front. Then I'm going to make my armhole curve. Then after that, I'm going to be taking my bust span divided by, I'm going to take my bust span, which is my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple divided by 2 is 5. Then mark that on the chest line, on the waistline, and on the back line. You know, the one for the front, I took my nipple to nipple from my bust line, but for the back, make sure your nipple to nipple intake is going to start from your chest line. Then I came down by 1 inch from the chest line, and on the waistline, I'm also going to come out by half inch, right? Then I'm going to connect that straight to the waistline. From the 1 inch I got from the chest line, connect it to the waistline. Then from the waistline, slant it into the back line. Hope you guys understand, and hope I am not too fast with this. Then I'm going to divide my waist circumference by 4, replace my dart intake, add 1.5 inch for my seam allowance, and on the back line, I will take my hip measurement divided by 4 and mark 1.5 inch for seam allowance, and I'm going to reconnect the lines just the way you see me doing. Hope you guys understand. Then after this, I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the waistline, just the way I did for the front. So everything I did for the front, I did for the back. The difference with the back and the front is the zipper allowance. The zipper allowance and the waistline. So from that waistline, I'm going to come out by 1 inch and slant it all over to the way you see me doing. This is going to prevent our zipper from bulging. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. This is all for the drafting of the back pattern, after which I am going to cut on my actual fabric. So the bow tie in front of this particular dress, I did not use a doll face for it. I had about 1 inch of white crepe left around my house, so I used it for the bow tie. Right, I use it for the bow tie. So the only doll face I use is for the dress, the body of the dress. So for clearer understanding, I used doll face for the body of the dress, that's the red. I used doll face for it, and for the bow tie in front of the dress, I used crepe. I have 1 yard of crepe, 1 yard of crepe remaining in my house, so I used it. So I divided what I have on the shoulder line by 2, and I connected it into the dart leg, just the way I did for the front. And I'm going to be opening up our dart leg, after which I labeled my line center back and side back. So when you bring your side for the front and merge it with the side for the back, you're going to see that it's merging together. Okay, so we're going to be drafting on our actual fabric. So I've gone ahead to draft on my actual fabric, and as you can see, I gave it all half inch all along for joining allowance, and on the hem length I gave it about I gave it also half inch. On the sides I gave it 1 inch. On the hem length I gave it half inch for joining allowance. So this is the crepe I'm using. I will be having 3 bow ties together, like 3 bow tie on one bust side, 3 bow tie on the other bust side. Okay, so you can make use of 2, but I decided to make exactly the one on the thumbnail. The one on the thumbnail has 3 bow tie, so you have one big you can see it's not the same length. I gave it about 1.5 inch difference all along. Okay, so I wanted to use white to merge it, and I looked at the one on the thumbnail and I noticed what they merged with the one on the thumbnail is same fabric, same color of the fabric, you like the same color of the dress. Okay, so don't worry, you're going to see that when I'm sewing. So this is what I have, and we are not using any lining for this tutorial. There will be no lining for it. So I'm going to unpin my pattern on my fabric. I'll unpin them, and I'll be showing you how to join the piece together. So as you can see, the front has 6 pieces. Okay, the front has 6 pieces. Okay, I cut through all, like all the front, I cut through everything. I don't know if you understand. It has 6 pieces. Okay, so this is the center front, the 2 center fronts, and the 2 sides, and the smaller one also is the sides as well. That's the armhole side. Okay, so I'm just going to merge it together for you to see how it's going to look, and I will pin them on this table so that I don't get confused while sewing. Hope you understand. So I don't get confused while sewing, I'm going to pin them. So these are the other smaller ones on the side. That's the one that is serving as the armhole. Do you understand? Can you see? So after sewing this, you're going to see it's going to have that as if you're going to add a bone to it, a bone casing to it, but you're not adding any bone casing, but it's going to have a bone casing shape, like a corset illusion. Hope you understand. Going through, you're going to understand what I'm saying. Going forward, you're going to understand what I'm saying. So I'm pinning them down now, so for you to see how it's going to look after stitching it down, and also for me not to get confused, right? Please do not mind the color. Some of the pieces has this orange, burnt orange look. It's not burnt orange look. I filmed this tutorial in the night, and I am using my phone touch. Yes, I am using my phone touch as the light, like the camera light as light for this tutorial. Okay, so just note the fabric I'm using is red all through. Okay, so like I said before, I'm pinning it down so I don't get confused, and for you to also see how it's going to look like after stitching it down. So after pinning this down, I'm also going to pin the back as well. Okay. So guys, I'm done pinning down, and I will take it to my sewing machine and I'll stitch them. This is I'll also stitch the bow tie as well, then I'll show you how it looks. So guys, I'm done stitching it down. Now I have my natural lights. Yeah, I have my lights now, my lights on. As you can see, it has that corset illusion, like a bone. We are going to be folding this, and we will top stitch. Do you understand? So I'll fold and I'll top stitch all the hems, like all the allowances I have after stitching. I'm going to top stitch them, then I'll show you how it looks. So guys, I am done top stitching it. Can you see how it looks? It looks as if it's going to, I'm going to attach bone to it. Can you see the bone casing? As if we are going to attach bones to it, but we're not going to be attaching any bone. So mine, I'm going to be attaching a belt to mine. So this is the bow tie I talked about. I have 6 pieces. So on each side of my bust, I'm going to have 3. On each side of my bust, I'm going to have 3. Now this is the red fabric I am using to, instead of that white, I'll use this red fabric to tie it. Okay, for it to give me that look, that exact look on the thumbnail. Can you see? So you just make a loose tie on it, then you're going to be using your needle and thread to tack this on your bust point, but that's when you're done sewing. Okay, so this is how it's going to look, right? So like I said before, you can make your bow tie too. You can make it 1, but I decided to make mine 3 so that it will be exactly the one on the thumbnail. So this is it. I'm also going to tie the other one, right? Do you understand? Just make a loose tie. Then when you're done sewing everything, attaching your zip and everything, you're going to use your needle and thread to tack it on your bust point. So now let's get back into the body of this dress. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to join it shoulder to shoulder. I'm going to be joining it shoulder to shoulder. Hope you guys understand what I said by top stitching those allowances you have after sewing. It's going to give you that bone casing illusion, right? So like I said before, I am going to have a belt on my own. I'm going to be tying the belt at the back. Okay, so I'm going to attach the belt inside. I made it a long rope, 2 rope for my belt. So I'm going to attach it. So guys, I am done attaching it shoulder to shoulder, and I am done attaching my belt as well. Can you see? So this is how it looks. I've not attached my belt yet. So now I'm going to measure around the neckline area, right? But first of all, it's going to this dress has the gathers, so let's work on the gathers before adding our collar. So for the gathers, I'm going to measure what I have down there, and I have exactly my round hip. Like I have exactly my round hip and about 5 inches 4 inches allowance. My round hip is 53 and I have 58 there, 57 there, so I had extra 4 inches. So what I have after measuring that round, the round body, that's the down the basque line, after measuring from my other back to the other back, I have 57. Now for these gathers, you're going to, whatever you get after measuring that round dress, you're going to multiply it by 4.5 or 4. But me, I multiplied mine by 5 because I want the gathers much, and you know I am not using a poly fabric for this, so I want the volume of the gathers to come out very well. Okay, so if you're using a poly for yours, you can multiply yours by 4. You can multiply yours by 5 as well, depending on how full you want your gathers. So I'll be minusing 18 inches for my half length for this, because I want this dress to be length 35. I want it short, so I'm going to add, instead of length 35, I'm going to add extra 4 inches. That's length 39. So 2 inch for hemming allowance, because I'm going to hem both the up and the down. I'm going to hem the up and the down of this fabric before joining. Okay, so this is it. I've hemmed. As you can see, if you look closely, you see the joining. I have that's what I measured. That's my hip circumference multiplied by 5. So that is what I have here. So multiply your hip circumference by 4, 4.5, 5, depending on how full you want your gathers to be. And I have hemmed the both side, that's the down and the up. You know, the ruffles, the edge is out, like it has a ruffle edge outside, it's not inside. Okay, so you have to hem both the up and the down, so you have a clean finishing. And you can see the joining I have all together on these gathers I want to join. So it is very long. I multiplied my hip by 5. So now I am going to be joining it and pleating. I'll show you how to join it. Instead of joining it this way, for it not to show, you're going to join it like this, so it will be showing the ruffles, the pleated edge will be showing outside the dress, just like the one on the thumbnail. Hope you understand. Anyways, if you don't understand, you can leave your question down the comment section. So now I'm going to measure my round neckline from the back to the other back, and when measuring, I will not add my zipper allowance. Do not add your zipper allowance. Okay, so what I have there, I'm going to divide it by, this collar does not have a collar stand. It's just a one-piece collar. Do you get? It's just a one-piece collar. So you can add a collar stand to it, but the one on the thumbnail does not have a collar stand. So I have, on that round neckline, I had 20 inches. So 20 inches divided by 2 is 20 divided by 10. Okay, so I'm going to, the length of this collar is going to be 6. I made it 5.5. The half inch is for joining. Okay, so that's the length. So I'm going to make a slant. You know, the collar has somehow like a slanted shape, the one on the thumbnail. I don't know if you understand. So you make a slant shape like this, and you cut out like a V shape, right? You cut out. So we're going to be joining two pieces of collar. Like we're going to be joining them separately. 10 for the other side, 10 for the other side. Remember, I have 20 inches after measuring my neckline area minus the zipper allowance. So that is the two collar I have. So I'm going to use my white fabric, the same fabric, the remaining fabric I have on the one I used for the bow tie. I'm going to be cutting it out, okay, and I'm going to be leaving about a quarter of an inch all along for joining allowance, okay. So I'm going to cut that through. So this is it. I'm going to cut it out. So this is the one piece collar, like this is one for one side, okay. So I'm going to be cutting for the other side as well. So I'm going to cut through just the way you see me doing for the other side. Then I'm going to be joining them, leaving the base open, okay. I'll leave the base open. So after stitching it, I've joined my pleated the gathers. I've joined my gathers. Can you see the dress is looking very beautiful? Can you see that the doll face I used on this particular tutorial, like this particular dress, is looking very fine, like it's really looking fine. And the collar neck, I've stitched the side, leaving the base open. As you can see, the base is open. So you're going to be joining it inside out. Hope I'm not too fast. You join it inside out. That slanted area is going to be in front. So the middle side, you're going to start from the middle side of the front all to get all through to the back, and after I'm going to pin it down. So you're joining inside out, please, inside out, not outside. Like you're joining from the wrong side, okay. Then when you're done joining from the wrong side, after stitching it, you're going to flip it over to the right side. So this is it. And you overlap when you bring the second collar, you just overlap it a little bit so that the rough edge will not show at the center. So when you're done stitching, this is how it's going to look. So I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch and show you, attach my zipper and show you how it looks. So guys, I'm done attaching my zipper and I'm done attaching my collar. Can you see this dress is looking like it's giving 10 over 10 minus nothing. The doll face is not even like, it's not even as if I used doll face for this particular tutorial, right? So I'm just going to use my needle and thread to tack this bow tie is on top of the chest, like on top of your bust. It's not on the bust point, is on top of your chest. That is where this bow tie is sitting, okay. So I'm going to use my needle and thread to tag it and I'll show you how it looks on my body. So guys, this is the outcome of this dress. Like the doll face is giving 10 over 10 minus nothing. So if you want to make for your clients, you might decide to use doll face for the up, then quality fabric for the down, for the gathers, depending on how much the client is paying you or what the clients want. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. I would like to know what you think about this tutorial down the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you find this video interesting, and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we post beautiful tutorials like this. Share this video and leave if you have any question, leave it down the comment section. Bye.